Boom. That's a new way of starting a video, isn't it? Top 10 strikers in FM22 according to me and a little bit according to you. I'm going to show you my favourite strikers that I've used in FM22 and then you can go and sign them and score all of the goals. Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Clayts and today I'm going to bring you my top 10 strikers in FM22. Now, before we begin, these are my top 10. So if you disagree with them, then I want to beef you in the comments down below. Now, maybe not beef you, but I do want to hear your opinion. So if I don't include your favourite striker that you've used in this year's game, then please do let me know who they are in the comments down below. I've asked this on Twitter and I've got a huge array of your favourite strikers already. I want to know, is there any gems in there that people can find and go and use them in their games? I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to bring you some little gems as well today because they're kind of my favourite strikers I've used because they fit what I think is the meta which I will explain to you today so you can go and find them yourselves. You can even then go and find them with the new gens that come through and you're going to have some success with them. That's how I think today's video is going to be helpful. Let's jump into my top 10 FM22 strikers. Before we do jump into that list, a super quick reminder to subscribe to the channel if you do like this type of content. If you want to see me go and do things like the top 10 midfielders, centre mid playmaker types, or maybe the top 10 centre backs, because each of those positions for me has a certain meta, a certain profile that I look for, and I'd happily bring you those videos. But subscribe to the channel if you want to see that. If you do like today's video, please do give it a like as well and leave them those comments as I mentioned. Let's jump into the top 10. But actually, before we do the top 10, I'm going to do a few notable mentions which didn't quite make it but are all really, really good. So let's do that. Okay, first of the notable mentions is going to be a player that in some ways does sum up what I look for in a striker. It's Gabriel Martinelli. I have had him in my Hertha save. We're Hertha Brazil. He's Brazilian. I've signed him in our January in the first season on loan and then made it permanent second season. And as you can see, his goal scoring's been pretty good. This year, he's gone on to a slightly new level. He's actually got 25 and 38 all competitions. This year, he's on 19 and 31. He's a really, really, really good striker and he makes what I think makes an effective striker. In that, he's super fast. He's got really good physicals. The other thing I look for is height. He doesn't quite have that, but he does make up for it by the fact that he's just rapid. And rapid strikers in FM22 are really, really good. We're going to see what fits that meta as we go through my strikers here. Big, tall, fast. Remember those three words. Have a look at how all of the strikers I show you today pretty much fit either one of those or two of those, or in some cases, all three of those parts, those aspects to the profile. Martinelli is very, very quick, and that means he scores goals, and I really like him. He's the first notable mention. The second one, if we stay in the same game world, is going to be Dusan Vlahovic, because he is also brilliant. He's not actually somebody that I've signed yet in this year's game. Maybe if I have signed him and had used him, maybe he'd make my top 10. Lots of you saying, though, Vlahovic is brilliant for you. He does fit the profile. He's 6'3". He's got lots of pace about him. He's left-footed as well, which I quite like if you play him on that left-hand side. He does seem to score goals for you guys. You guys love him. He's going to make my notable mentions. Jumping across to another save game now. There's a few players in this save that I do want to show you. One of them being a bit of a wild card entry. It's Noni Madueke. Now, not normally a striker, but he's super quick, great dribbling. And I've deployed him as a striker quite a lot for Wolfsburg in a save. And he scores goals and he started really well in that different role. I've been really impressed. It's early days, but I'm going to make him a notable mention because I think he could actually be a really, really good striker. And I really like him. Another player that I have at my Wolfsburg team at the moment is Yusufu Moukoko. He's still only 18 here. And just look how good he is. This is second season, February. He is already scoring goals for my Wolfsburg team. He got 7 in 11 last year at 17. 8 in 11 this year. I've made his move permanent. He's really, really good. Obviously, he turns out really good. I did just want to mention him because quite a few of you said that he's your favorite striker. So Moukoko is also obviously a very, very good striker. And the last of the notable mentions is somebody who's actually at Borussia Mönchengladbach at the moment in the in this save where I'm at Wolfsburg. He's been really, really good there, scoring goals too. It's Julian Alvarez. Again, I just wanted to put him in this list somewhere. Well, not quite in the list, but you know what I mean. Just because a lot of you have used him and have said he's really, really good. So Julian Alvarez, you can pick him up for super cheap at the start of the game. £7 million in this case, and he will score goals for you. Not tall, but pretty fast and has lots of other really good attributes. Those are my notable mentions. There are probably more that I could say that I have used, but we're going to move through now into my top 10. Coming in at number 10, it is... At number 10, it's going to be, this is a wildcard one. Maybe not one you'd expect. It's Davy Salka. Obviously, he starts off the game world at Hertha Berlin, Hertha Brazil in my save, as you can see. But this guy, despite having things like 8 composure, 10 anticipation, is a goal scorer. Just trust me on that one. He doesn't look like he's going to be. I know some of you will look at his profile and think, there's no way I'm signing him. He's only got 11 finishing. Just trust me on it. He has the physicals that make up for absolutely everything, especially in the way our match engine is at the moment. He is tall and he is fast. And that is enough for him to score goals. In my Hertha save, first season for me, he scored 22 and 34 in the league, 24 goals, all competitions. That's after I initially transfer listed him for about £2 million. If you wanted to buy Davy Salka at the start of the game, you easily could for a cheap amount of money. Let me tell you that. Arsenal bought him from me for £20 million. And that is a player that has 8 composure and 10 first touch and 11 finishing. He doesn't look very good, but trust me, he is 6'4", fast enough and strong enough and aggressive enough to go and score goals. So that's exactly what he did for me. I think if you're in a bit of a jam and you need a cheap striker, he'll score goals for you. Number 9 on my list is another big, tall, strong striker. It's Alexander Isak, and I just think he's brilliant. This is second season in this game, but have a look at him here. He has all of the physical attributes you could ever want. 6'3" as well. Good finishing at 14 in this case. Good dribbling and first touch too. Good technique. He just scores goals. I do believe you can pick him up for £60 million in the first season. That's his release clause. They've increased it since then in here, but for £60 million, you're going to get a godly striker if you can afford that. Maybe slightly on the expensive side, but he is honestly at the top of his game. He's brilliant, is Alexander Isak. That's why I always try and sign him, basically. Sometimes I fail, as famously I did in the Leicester save at the start of this year, but Alexander Isak, he will not let you down. He's my number 9 top striker for FM22. Okay, number 8 is another one that I think is slightly obscure. It's Paul Onuachu, who is a Nigerian striker. Now, I don't know if you would have come across this striker or not. Maybe you have. And if you have, GG's to you, because this guy's a god. 6'7", 20 jumping reach. Very much hitting those meta points that I look for. Big and tall. He's not slow, although he doesn't have the greatest of accelerations, which is why maybe he's down at number 8. But as a target forward, just as a striker generally, he's brilliant with that 6'7" frame. He's got decent finishing as well. Have a look at the goal scoring I managed to get out of him in this Schalke save here. 24 goals in 34 games. 37 goals in 48 all competitions. He's just brilliant. He's a little bit older at 29. I managed to sign him for £32 million here. So maybe you can structure that and get him a bit cheaper as well. If you get him a bit earlier, maybe he's a bit cheaper too. He starts off the game at Genk, which is a team that you can go and take players from with not too much difficulty, you'd probably say. Onuachu, though, what a brilliant striker he can become. He's number 8 on the list. Let's have a look at number 7. The number 7 striker on my list is, you guessed it, he's big, tall, and he's pretty fast as well. Actually, no, maybe we can't call him fast. It's Wout Weghorst. He's only got 10 acceleration, 12 pace. So maybe we can't call him fast, but he's definitely tall at 6'6". He has got great jumping reach, 18. He's got great finishing at 16. He's a little bit older, which is why maybe he's again slightly lower down our standings here. But I had him for 1 season in my Wolfsburg save, and he was sensational. He scored only 11. Well, he scored 22 goals in 26 games, all competitions. And then in January, we sold him to Newcastle for £53 million, where he's continued to score goals, maybe not quite as prolifically, but he's a brilliant striker. He seems to move for a big amount of money in most saves where the AI pick him up, and I can see why as well. His profile, he looks really good here. Great determination, bravery, work rate, all the things you want from a striker. Great heading too. And at 6'6" in this year's meta, it just works. He will score goals for you. Wout Weghorst is number 7. Let's go across to another player in the same save game now for number 6. Number 6 is another striker. Now, am I repeating myself here slightly? He's big and tall, 6'4". He's fast, 16 acceleration, 16 pace, and he's an all-round pretty good striker. It's Marcus Thuram at number 6. I really rate him highly. The AI seem to rate him really highly as well. I see him move to Bayern Munich very, very often when they're choosing who to bring in as maybe for a replacement for Robert Lewandowski. Marcus Thuram could be your guy. In this save world, last year he got 26 goals, all comps in 30 games, 22 league goals, and then so far far this season, in the second season, he's got 15 and 19 in the Bundesliga, 17 and 23. He's been linked with Manchester City pretty heavily. Right now, he's linked with West Ham, which is a bit of a weird one. But Man City, PSG, we're looking at him as well. He's just really, really good. He's actually really effective, even if you don't play him as a striker. If you play him off this left wing, maybe as an inside forward on attack, this guy can get you goals, especially when you've got those crosses that go to the far post. He gets on the end of them. We know how OP far post crosses are, right? Marcus Thuram is a god at getting on the end of them. He can be a really good striker for you. And I don't think he'll be too difficult to pick up. More easy to pick up than some other strikers because he's not on a massive wage at Gladbach. I think this is actually an improved wage from the start of the game. And Gladbach, they're not one of the top teams in the Bundesliga yet, are they? So you can pick him up fairly easily. He makes number 6 on the list. Let's move through to number 5. Number 5 on my list is going to be Karim Adeyemi. Now, he's not tall, but he's very, very fast. He's got that 18 acceleration, 17 pace here. Now, this isn't a striker that I've necessarily had loads of success with, but just going by some of your replies to the tweet that I sent out and when I've just been asking and speaking to a few people, you guys love Adeyemi, and I've certainly seen him turn out into an absolutely worldy striker. So he's going to make number 5. In this case here, look, you can see why he becomes a really good striker, right? And he has scored goals in this save world as well. Since joining Gladbach in this save, he's got 23 and 59, which is a decent return. He's still only 21 years old. Of course, he's got a lot of growing to do. He can become really, really good. You can see why. Just having a look at his attributes here, he's got all of that pace in the world, which is why he's also a really nice. I like the left-footedness of him. Playing him on that left-hand side if you want to. Karim Adeyemi is going to be my number 5 striker. We're getting close to my number 1 now. Let's go and see who's number 4. Number 4 then, for me, this guy is probably... he's one of my favourite strikers I've ever used. Now, he's only slightly further down the list because he is so expensive. It's Victor Osimhen. Have a look at his profile here. I'm in the second season in this save. He has got... Is he tall? 6'1". You could probably say he is pretty tall, right, at 6'1". Is he fast? Absolutely, he's fast. 17 acceleration, 19 pace. Does he have the finishing to match that? Yes, he does. 16 finishing. He is a god. I love him. However, he does not come cheap. He's cost me 44 million up front here. It could rise to nearly 70 million, and I think there's probably a bit more on top of that as well. He's brilliant, but he's so expensive. He's got 8 in 9 already since joining the club, 10 in 11 all competitions. He's going to go and score more because he's superb. Have a look at that profile, look, and still only 24 as well. Will improve slightly on this too. Just love him. Some of his traits are really good too. The fact that he likes to beat the offside trap means he gets in behind. Placing shots means he doesn't just blaze them over as often. He's just a really great makeup for a striker in FM22. He's number 4 simply because he's so expensive. I mean, I even had to put him on a big wage here. He could even be higher. Let's move through to the top 3 of my strikers in FM22 though. So if number 4 on the list was Victor Osimhen and he is as good as he is, there must be something special about the top 3, right? And that special thing for me is value for money. Number 3 is going to be a guy that I bought for Wolfsburg for £4.8 million, and he is sensational. It's Ludovic Ajorque. Have a look at this profile here. Look, right? He's 6'6". Is he tall and big? Yes, he is. Does he have the pace? Maybe not quite so much, but 6'6", more than makes up for that. Great finishing too. Great heading as well. Will he score goals? Well, yes, he will. I actually brought him in as a replacement for the outgoing Wout Weghorst, another player that's made my top 10. He got himself 17 goals in 32 league games, 23 all competitions. He hasn't really found himself in the team this year because I've bought players like Osimhen, and but I just really rate him so highly. If you are on a bit of a budget and you can afford to bring in Ajorque, just do it. Just bring him in. He's really, really good. He's made my top 3 purely for value for money, which is going to be a bit of a theme for my top 3. That's why they've made the top 3, because anybody can go and sign them for lots of different teams. Maybe not your lower league saves, but let's move through to number 2. And here we go then. Number 2, it's Lorenzo Luca. You've heard of him. I'm sure you have. And if you've not, well, I mean, get to know him, because this guy is the real deal. Lorenzo Luca, 6'7". Yes, he's big and he's tall. Has he got decent pace? 13 is actually pretty good. He's still only 22 years old. Can he finish? 16 finishing, 18 heading, which is superb. And I mean, just to mention again, 6'7", this guy. And can you get him cheap? Absolutely, yes, you can. Have a look at this Wolfsburg save, by the way. I've got Luca. I mean, basically, my top 10 list of strikers are all the players that I've signed for Wolfsburg in this save. £5 million, though, Luca has come in for. In his debut season so far, he's got 12 in 25 in the league, which is very good, but maybe not quite clinical. There's probably reasons for that. That's because I've got so many different strikers. 16 in 29. I've seen this guy, though, go and be the top goal scorer in the Premier League really, really often. He can do it all in FM22. I really think he's so OP. Have a look at that for a profile. Second season. Go and sign him in your saves because he has absolutely everything going for him, doesn't he? And that leaves one more player that I think is better than Lorenzo Luca. Better than this. And that, my friends, is why the number one striker in FM22 is... It's Benjamin Sesko. I'm sure you probably guessed it, right? Going through all of these strikers and we haven't come to him yet, I think you probably guessed it's going to be him. This isn't even Sesko in his full bloomage at this point here. He's still only 19 years old, but just look how well-rounded he is. And is he tall? Yes. Is he strong? Yes. Has he got good pace? Yes, he has. He just becomes so good. In fact, let me take you into a little Wolves save and show you how he's getting on in that one. Okay, here he is in 2027 then, and as you can see, he's developed that little bit more since then. He's got himself 17 acceleration and 16 strength and 17 dribbling, an absolute godly striker. He has got 18 and 20 this season for Wolves, 28 and 26 all competitions. You can just see what he can become. He's still only 23 here. We could go further and see him at his absolute peak. He's going to be even better than this, but I feel like I've said enough. You can buy Sesko at the start of the game for between 10 and 20 million, maybe even cheaper if you structure a deal. And I just think in terms of pure value for money, for fitting the meta, for being tall, fast and strong, you cannot go wrong by buying Benjamin Sesko, to the point that it's almost a bit boring to go and buy him, isn't it? But you know what? He's that good. He deserves to be the number one striker for me in FM22. Do you agree? If you do agree, then let me know in the comments down below. If you disagree, I want to know why you disagree. I want to hear your rationale. Who is your number one? Or maybe you could give me your top 3 or something in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching today. If you've enjoyed this type of video and you want to see me go and do other positions, do the midfielders or do the centre backs, as I mentioned, even goalkeepers could be a good one. There's definitely a meta that I find for goalkeepers too. If you want to see that, you need to let me know in the comments. Give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. That's how I know you're enjoying it. Thank you so much for watching though. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye-bye.